Look, I'm out here taking a walk in a normal Michigan neighborhood, and I was just thinking about how, all the different things we used to do for fun were really cheap, and you could be totally broke and it wouldn't matter. I'm 31. Back in the day, being broke, it just meant you had to get a little creative with your friends on a Friday night, especially in like middle school and high school. Now, being broke, it's kind of more like you sit in your room and stare at a wall. I've been looking at like the recent quarterly reports from publicly traded companies here in the US. I've been looking at consumer data. Corporate America has completely financialized our free time. And I wanted to share with you guys today 7 poor person hobbies that have been completely ruined by 2026. So the first one, the late night fast food run. Remember when like scraping together $5 in your car's cup holder meant a massive feast at Taco Bell? I was just reading the latest consumer spending reports from CNBC. These fast food CEOs are literally complaining on record that the low income consumer has pulled back from spending. Yeah, I mean, no kidding, right? Like when a basic combo meal is pushing 15 to 18 bucks per person, the cheap hangout spot is officially dead. Number 2 on the list, going to Goodwill / thrifting. So this one, kind of hits home for me. Used to be like a way to survive, just getting like some awesome clothes in your 20s. You like walk into a Goodwill, you go like through half the store and you find stuff that's like super reasonable, including video games. But now when you walk in, the store is pretty much full of people scanning barcodes to flip on Depop. Store managers are literally pricing stained basic vintage t-shirts for like 25 bucks. The whole system is basically broken, and it's probably because of places like eBay, Depop, and stuff like that. So, these trends have completely taken the thrift out of thrift store. Number 3 on the list, gaming. Again, this one hits home for me. Gaming used to be the ultimate budget escape. You buy a console, you buy a game, and you're pretty much set for months. Now, look at the news this week. Nintendo hiking the Switch 2 to 500 bucks starting in September. And let's not forget Sony pushing a $900 PS5 Pro. Don't forget the fact that a lot of, these subscriptions, Xbox, you pay close to 30 bucks a month for subscriptions just for the right to play games that you don't actually own. You're basically just renting them. So it's basically transitioned from like what I see as like a basement hobby into a form of a luxury asset class. All right, guys, another big one is streaming. So remember cutting the cord on cable to save a few bucks? Well, we all cheered when Netflix was $8, $10 a month, and those days are completely gone. Look at today. If you want no ads, combine Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, it's literally pushing $100 a month, at least here in the US. Not only that, but Amazon literally forced ads into accounts we already paid for, unless we paid a monthly ransom fee. So that's all pretty recent. The cheap night in is just cable television 2.0. We're basically right back where we started. Number 5 on the list, camping. This used to be a vacation for people who couldn't afford a flight, a hotel room, things like that. You basically just had a tent, a cooler, and you just like set up shop in the woods somewhere. Now, try booking a state park. I mean, they're literally bought up 6 months in advance by bots, or you're paying 80 bucks a month in fees just to park your car or like whatever next to a guy in a $200,000 Sprinter van pretending to live off the grid. They gentrified the dirt pretty much. Number 6 here, going to local concerts, this was another one pretty close to home for me, because it used to be only like $15 to get in the door to see a band and blow off some steam. Now, thanks to Ticketmaster and dynamic pricing, that $20 ticket has $40 in service fees attached to it. You'd be lucky to get out under $100 a person just to see a decent local concert these days in 2026. The barrier to entry, having a good time, has just gotten way more difficult, like super fast. And these convenience fees and service fees from these ticket reselling websites have a lot to do with that. Now, number 7, the last one on our list today, just existing outside. This is the saddest one because, we all know about like third places. This is like the place that you just go outside of home and work, pretty much, outside of home and school. So this is pretty much disappearing. You go to a public park or just some downtown area that you and your friends can vibe at, you and your family can hang out on the weekends. And at the end of the day, you're paying like $20 for parking via like some app that you don't even want on your phone that charges $3 in convenience fees. It's absolutely outrageous. And I've seen this all across America. I've seen this in Detroit, Michigan. I've seen this in Orlando. I've seen this in Honolulu. It's absolutely outrageous. Like, just paying to park somewhere, just to have like a decent time out at a park, is absolutely insane. And you know what? Like, you can't just sit somewhere without the expectation of spending money in 2026. That's the sad part too. So every square inch of public space, in my opinion, is pretty much just being monetized at this point. So guys, at the end of the day, we're pretty much being systemically squeezed out of leisure entirely. Everything costs money, and the things that used to be cheap and affordable for anyone to do on a whim are really expensive, honestly. We're getting nickel and dime left and right in 2026, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. So drop a comment below and tell me, what is the one hobby you've had to completely drop because the math just doesn't work for you anymore? Also, are you surviving with any of the hobbies on this list that we discussed today? Or did you find a new broke hobby that hasn't been ruined yet? Also, what is the most offensive price hike that you've seen in the past month or this year so far? I'm reading every single comment today. Let's see which hobby they ruined the worst. I'll see you on the next walk.